So my name is Chauncey Webb. I own Renaissance Wood and Timber, and we are a timber supplier and fabricator. What we've been doing for the last couple of years is something new. Is we'll bring in, we have contacts with loggers who harvest standing dead Engelmann spruce that was beetle kill in Colorado. And so we've been basically freighting in directly from the logger full trees. What's great about this is, one is the tree's dry. It's been standing dead for at least 2 years or more. And it comes in a 50-foot long log. And we're able to cut those down into 30 and 20-foot long lengths. And from there, we can custom mill almost any size timber, within reason. And we can cut timbers all the way up to 30 feet long. And so with these houses nowadays, our living rooms and our spaces are getting so much wider and bigger and more open, like living rooms that run into the kitchen area and just big open concept kind of designs. It's not uncommon to have a timber or some beams that you might want to have running all the way through both rooms. And in the past, it was very difficult to, pull that off without any seams. But with the new Engelmann spruce option, it's a great option. We cut up to 30 feet long, no seams, any size or dimension that you might need. And then the other great thing about it that's been real popular is it's super light. So the unique properties of Engelmann spruce is that it kind of has the strength of pine, but it's as light as cedar. And so when you're talking about these big open rooms, you're not adding an extraordinarily amount of weight to the ceiling or the structure itself to hang a bunch of timbers in it. I think what makes us unique is a couple things. One is what we can supply. So typically in Oklahoma, the only suppliers around here that you'll get is suppliers of greenwood. So, and in 2 different species. So you can get Doug fir and cedar, western red cedar, and both will be green, which, is okay, but it can cause problems because you're not really able to control what that timber is going to do as it dries out. And sometimes the checking or the twisting or the bowing can get out of control even after you've installed a timber. And what makes us different is we have satellite mills in both British Columbia and Oregon that we work with, that we can bring in custom milled lumber timbers for the client. And one of the things that we can do, or some of the things we can do that is unique, is we can have those kiln dried. We're not limited within reason on length. We've done several jobs where we've brought in 48 to 50 foot long timbers that were 12 by 12, and those are also kiln dried. Another difference is we can get what's called free of heart center. That basically is cutting the timber out of the tree without the heart, so you don't have the heart in that timber. And what people have learned over the years is that that heart is what makes your timber crack, twist, and move because it dries at a different rate than the rest of the wood. And so we can do some really nice premium cut timbers, bring them in custom based on your specs. So if you say, I need this size timber, this length, free of heart center, kiln dried, we basically start to work on that, and they will go into the forest, custom cut those trees for your order, and then finish them out from there. And they'll land here in Oklahoma for you. And then from there, another thing that really sets us apart is really just, you're not just buying the timbers from us, is you're also getting a lot of organization and support and just help with laying out of timbers. It's not untypical for a builder or an architect to kind of come with their plans and say, here's kind of my house plans or our structure. We'd like to, get some timbers in here. We're kind of thinking this size, and from there, they just need some help laying it out. And so we'll help lay it out. And then once those timbers do come in, we can tag each timber. Each timber will have a unique number that's tagged on the end. And these tags are basically lumber, they're log tags, so those things don't fall out or anything. And then that number is assigned on the plan, so the builder, the framer, the architect, whoever is doing the structure knows exactly this timber goes in that spot. And so we kind of lay all that out on the plans for them. So really, you get a lot more of just, like I said, organization with, buying timbers from us and it being custom to you. So we try to provide that service just as a little bit of a bonus. One other thing that is kind of unique to us is you're not just buying a timber from the lumber supplier that it just kind of comes rough cut and it's green. Really, you can spec out the details of that timber, like I was saying earlier, whether it's kiln dried, how long, how big it is, all that stuff. But also, once it gets here, we do a lot of custom textures. And so the difference is you may not want your timber to look just rough sawn, or you may want it to look super smooth and clean and real crisp corners, and we can take a rough sawn timber and make it look really clean and linear for you. Or you may want something that looks a little more aged, in which we would put what we call our weatherwood texture on it, where we draw knife the corners by hand and we raise the grain and make it look weathered and old. Or you may want a new timber because your structure is really big and you need some long timbers, but you couldn't, you may want something that looks a little more like hand hewn, like super rustic, where, a lot of timbers predate sawmills, and we can put a faux hand hewn texture on your timber for you. And so really, from the time of getting the timbers, we can really detail out like how exactly you want these timbers to look, not just from the size and length, but also just like the texture and feel and the look, So that's kind of an extra deal that we do.